My name is Marilú Velasquez. I'm 17 years old, born and raised in the city of Baltimore. My neighborhood is like around Poplar Grove and Mosher Street, but I can never tell the difference because the sign is like next to each other. So I just claim and rep both sides. I think you would recognize my neighborhood if you saw the Alexander Hamilton School. Like that's how you know that you're around Poplar Grove and Mosher Street. And also if you see like this Oreos store called O's, I say that because the theme of their store is like orange and black, just like the Baltimore Oreos. There's a lot of diversity in the city. So it's like there's so many different cultures and so many different foods. I also like a lot of Hollandtown, like East Baltimore foods, because they have more cultural foods and more varieties like Salvadorian food, Honduran food. I love to expand my palette of foods. My favorite sound in my neighborhood is definitely not the ambulance that I hear every 5 minutes, but my favorite sound would definitely be the birds. Like in the morning where there's no noise and there's just the birds and occasionally the people cutting the grass and everything. I'm very much of an introvert. I like to stay in my little box and not have to interact with the whole neighborhood, because that's like the one thing about the city is that we're so expressive to each other. They're like, hey, how are you? And all that. And, I don't like to talk to many people. But I've lived in Baltimore City my whole life and not in the house that I'm in now that I reside in currently, but I think I have a current like time span. Like every house that I've lived in was like maybe 5 years, 6 years, and I'm hitting the time stamp of 6 years. So it's definitely time for me to move. But I've lived in many different places, but I've always been in the city.